Oh shit, my bad, bro. Sorry, I was just going through my the last video, part 1 of Haitians in the Dominican Republic, because I was trying to find the part where I said that Haitians were innocent. Like, I've been scrolling through this video like 3 times, and did I ever say that shit? Did I ever say that Haitians was innocent? I'm not saying that Haitians are necessarily just 100% innocent as well. I know like the media, they try to like villainize Dominicans to be out like these super ruthless, hateful people, but it's like both sides gotta be held accountable for like the things that they do. Sometimes when I do these videos, like me as the creator, like I remember the stuff that I talk about, but when I read these comments, I'm like, yo, like, are we watching 2 different videos? Because I'm pretty sure, like, I said that I'm not being biased and that I'm not picking sides. I'm pretty sure I made that clear in the video, but I'm just gonna make that clear again in this video that I'm not picking sides, I'm not being biased, I'm not saying one side is better than the other, and I'm just going based off of facts. Like, that's how I'm doing this video. This is just from a third perspective. So I don't want none of that like, oh, he was being biased or he's picking sides, because I'm making that clear right now that that's not the case. Okay, so in the last video on part 1, I remember in the beginning I was saying like, I didn't want to make it like a history lesson, and I kind of just glazed over it real quick. But after uploading the video, or like actually while editing the video, like midway, I was kind of like, damn, I probably should have included the historical part behind this tension, because that is actually a key factor into, a lot of the tension that we see today between Haitians and Dominicans. And so, after reading the comments too, I kind of was like, yeah, like I probably should have included the historical part, because it actually kind of makes a lot of sense. And in that last video on part 1, I was kind of hitting like the surface level stuff, or the modern day issues between Haitians and Dominicans. And, because for most people, and I'm speaking specifically about African American people, when they travel to the Dominican Republic, they don't really know like the history or whatever. They're going based off of like the stuff that they see in modern day. But I feel like if they actually knew the history, and they actually knew like what started this whole feud, then things would make a lot more sense. So for that reason, I decided that today I was going to kind of go back on a more historical note and give you like some more insight about like what happened between the 2 countries. So hopefully this video will further explain everything. Now for me specifically, I already had prior knowledge to the history between Haitians and Dominicans, because I actually did a project on this in high school, like the historical part. Like I wrote a paper and everything and had a PowerPoint. Like, so I was like very, very well, I guess you can say like informed about like what was going on between Haitians and Dominicans. And even just in my free time, like I watched a lot of documentaries on this stuff, like slavery in the Americas. I always found that stuff to be interesting. But for this video in particular, I wrote so many notes. I don't know if you can see this, but like I wrote a lot of notes because I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess up on the dates. I couldn't really remember them off the top of my head. So I did go back and do some more research on this topic to kind of refresh my memory. I spent a good amount of time like getting all this stuff together to make sure that, I'm stating what's going on factually and not from like, my own opinion, I guess. Hola clase, hoy yo quiero enseñarte sobre la historia de los haitianos y los dominicanos. No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna do this video in English. But yeah, so we're gonna break down a few right now. So it all starts with the island of Hispaniola. They've been sharing the island for, 5 centuries or whatever. And this island in particular is the first place in the New World where Africans were brought over as slaves, or like imported in as slaves. And this is also the birthplace of what we know as the Black experience in the Americas. All right. Now, one of the biggest questions that a lot of people like to ask, they like to say like, well, this is the birthplace of the Black experience in the Americas. Why is it so many Dominicans that deny their African heritage? And I already made a video explaining this, and I broke it down. It was the video titled like, "Are Dominicans Racist?" or what do Dominicans think about African Americans, or something like that. I'll link it right up here. But I already explained that most of the people who are saying that they're not Black are not really denying their African heritage. They're denying the 1-drop rule. And what I said in that video is that for Black Americans, or people who grew up in America, we grew up on the 1-drop rule because back then we were conditioned into believing that if you had any ounce of Blackness in you, you were considered Black. And that was a rule created by white people at the time. And so it was to further create more separation between the 2 groups, the whites and the Blacks. So yeah, that meant if any person had any little ounce of Blackness in them, then they were considered Black. you know, in terms of like appearance wise. And that's why you have so many Dominicans that come over to the States, and when they get over here, black people say, well, you're black. And the Dominicans are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm Dominican. And so black people, they see that as like, oh, they're denying their African heritage, when in reality, Dominicans are translating that as to, well, no, I'm not just black, but I'm Taino and I'm European as well, because, you know, Dominicans are part of a mixed race society. So they look at all of the things they're mixed with instead of just one. Wow, in America, we're like, okay, you're black, even though we're mixed too. African Americans are mixed as well. You know, like I have white in my family as well. That's just a cultural thing, and that's created like a lot of confusion. All right, February 27th, which is actually coming up very soon, by the way, is what? Dominican Independence Day. So February 27, 1844 is when Dominicans celebrate their independence, but not from Spain, because I know some people thought it was from Spain, but no, they're actually celebrating their independence from Haiti. Okay, so now we're gonna take a little flashback. So let's go back in time. So back in 1804, the Haitians, they revolted against the French, and they declared their independence, and that was during the Haitian Revolt. So that's when all the slaves, they're like, you know what, F this shit, like I'm tired of being a slave, and you know, they went ham against the French and they took over. Okay, so during this time, Haiti had the potential to have one of the most powerful economies in the world, okay? But the problem was, after the revolt, Haiti didn't want anything to do with the French, all right? So that meant anything that reminded them of France, they wanted to dispose of it. And disposing their road systems, like the villages, the plantations, anything that reminded them of France. Matter of fact, on these plantations, they were actually leading with like the sugar industry and I believe coffee, I wanna say wheat, but like they were killing it. After that, when they destroyed everything that reminded them of France, it left them into like a steep decline. And then the people that were left remaining in Haiti were just kind of like independent survivors. So this really affected their economy badly. And because of the war, this also made them in a lot of debt, and they had to pay back to France. So because of these monstrosity of events, Haiti started creeping over to the east side, or what we know as Dominican Republic. And when they arrived, they went hard, all right? So they pretty much took everything out of the Dominican Republic. Like they took full control. So the language, they outlawed Spanish. They made French the language of the primary language of instruction. You know, they took over the Catholic Church because Dominicans at the time were Catholic, and even the black Dominicans too. So like they took over like religion, education, and then even worse, they started putting these crazy taxes on the people. So they started taxing the people over there like super crazy because they were still in debt with France, and so they needed to pay that debt back. For that reason, they had like all these high taxes on the people, and Dominicans got mad at this, and they were like, yo, like we are not like these people. So you know, Dominican Republic, they're upset, and they're pretty much saying like, yo, why are you making your country's problems our issues? You know, like they're kind of like what the fuck? Haiti did this for an entire 22 years, and it had a huge impact on Dominican national identity. So for these reasons, you start to see like Dominicans holding up this barrier, like, yo, once again, like I said earlier, they have their own culture, they have their own language, and they even started to discriminate against darker skin color because they associated dark skin with being Haitian. Okay, so that's where that comes from, or I guess that's where that starts, like the whole like negative stigma on darker skinned people as being Haitian, because you know what Haiti was doing at the time, Dominicans wasn't feeling it, and they were like, yo, if you black, then you're evil, pretty much. So because of what Haiti was doing at the time, this actually made Dominican Republic declare their independence from Haiti in 1844. During this time, Haiti, they got upset. It was like, yo, we gotta take this back. Like we once had control, you know, like they're independent now. We were once in control, basically. So for this reason, they wanted to invade the Dominican Republic again. And they tried for like over the past 10 years. And bro, like Haiti, they was on some ruthless ass shit, bro. Okay, like they was coming into like these different towns in the DR, and they were just like slaughtering Dominicans, like just murder. Like I'm talking about like a true genocide, right? And you can read like the different stories, but like they would just go into like these towns, and they would just like kill off like Dominicans that were like mixed with white or whatever. And yeah, it got kind of graphic. Like they talked about like how the children had like their throats slit out, and I mean, like you can read about it, but just look up like the Haitians killing the Dominicans, like that genocide or whatever. Man, like it gets really brutal. So they did that for like over the next decade, and it got so bad that Dominican Republic actually tried to get the United States involved, but the United States was like, nah fam, like we're not trying to get into all that. So then the DR they had hit up Spain, which is another reason why a lot of people they wonder, like, like, why are Dominicans so loyal to Spain? Like, why do they care so much about Spain? Well, this is like one of the reasons, because like during when all this was going on, they was looking for Spain for help, because Spain was like a more stable country at the time compared to the Dominican Republic. All of this was going on, and then you get 1930. All this passes through, and then 1930, in comes Rafael Leonidas Trujillo. I know I like fucked up that name really bad, but Trujillo. So this guy is like what they call like the Dominican version of Hitler or whatever. Like that was his nickname. Like the Dominican Hitler. But yeah, so he comes into power in 1930, okay? Now, during this time in the Dominican Republic, there were actually a lot of Haitian immigrants that were working, because there were many jobs that were deemed, I guess, like, okay, in the United States how like they say the Mexicans do like the jobs that the Americans don't want to do. Okay, well, that was kind of like a similar situation that was going on in Dominican Republic at the time. There are many jobs that Dominicans didn't want to do because the wages were like extremely low, and they felt like they were too good to do it. So you had like all these Haitians coming in, and they were like trying to do these jobs. Like, and this right here, I'll say, is like the first time where Dominicans started to kind of feel like superior to Haitians or whatever, because they kind of low-key create their own class. And that goes back into the last video where I was talking about this whole classism thing. Well, like, this is kind of like the start of that, with Haitians doing these jobs that Dominicans knew that they weren't going to do. It kind of made the Dominicans feel a little bit more higher up, I guess, if that's what you want to say. But Trujillo, he took this to the extreme, okay? He really wanted this society to be like an all-white society, and he really wanted the Dominican Republic not to have a trace of black in there, all right? I mean, he went so far as actually wearing like white powder makeup, okay? Like this dude actually like wore makeup and was putting on his face to make himself look lighter. And on his ID, he even put that he was white, despite him being a mulatto, which is kind of ironic because he had Haitian ancestry, but he wanted to be white. Like, he really just wanted to be white, and he was like, you know what, like, this is a white society. And, he felt like Haitians were just no good, and he kind of wanted to protect that whole image of, like, purity and whiteness and, all that stuff. So during his rule, he actually went back to the river, what's it called, the Massacre River, I believe. Yeah, he went back to the river where it divides Haiti and Dominican Republic, and he noticed, like, the Haitians, they were still trying to, like, basically take control of DR land, and he just wasn't feeling that. He was like, yo, like, they still bugging around, and they trying to, like, F up everything that I got going on, like, with this whole perfect white society. So pretty much October 1937, he was like, wipe them out. Yo, and he did just that. He killed off all the Haitians. So he went through the Dominican Republic, and if you were of Haitian descent, if you were Haitian or you had Haitians in your family, you were killed off. If you were too dark, like if you were black, you were killed immediately, like on sight. So like he went all through Haiti and basically, he went all through Dominican Republic and basically killed them off. Yeah, I want to say he killed off over like 15,000 Haitians, or like his team, his people, like they killed over 15,000 Haitians. So yeah, like he really did. It was like a massacre basically. So, moving forward to today's time, that's what really set the foundation for like what's going on between Dominicans and Haitians. These like disputes are still going on to this day. Like, there's still stuff going on at the border right now between Haiti and Dominican Republic, like where Haitians trying to like claim land or whatever, and they've been talking about like they even want to build a wall. Yeah, this stuff is still very active and it's going on right now. And like in modern day society, first video, I was talking about like the healthcare system. Many Haitians are receiving free healthcare, and then you got like these lower class Dominicans, they're having to pay and do all this stuff. So, and then just the stuff with like the crimes. Matter of fact, 3 days after Christmas, me and my friends were chilling outside of Comado or whatever. This was in Santo Domingo. But yeah, we were chilling outside of Comado, listening to merengue, bachata, whatever, just chilling, having a good time. And then a Haitian, he hopped off a motorcycle and went into the Comado next door, and he robbed them. And like he did this right in front of us, And I was telling y'all in that last video, I said like, like you got to be careful in the Dominican Republic in certain areas because, this stuff happens. But yeah, like we actually sat there and saw the dude like rob the Kamado. Like this was like right in front of us, and I had my phone out, which was crazy. Like I took a picture like in the moment. But so, you know, I can understand why some Dominicans feel the way that they feel towards Haitians in terms of like the crime and, you know, things with like the healthcare system. Like I can understand why they might feel a certain type of way. Yo fam, now what I'm not going to justify is absolute racism, alright? Now there's a difference between having a disagreement or a dispute with another country, or you might not like what another country is doing, but to discriminate somebody because of their skin color is pure ignorance and it's stupid, okay? I'll be a fool if that came out of my mouth that I'm trying to justify racism because of all the shit that's still going on in America to this day. Alright, you'll never catch me try to justify racism. I don't think there's a place in this world for people to just be pure racist. I'm sorry, there's just not. Now, a prime example of this, I actually mentioned that in my last video, how I was trying to do an interview with like this Dominican dude, blatantly racist. Dude knows he's racist, alright? But anyways, before we could set up the interview and shit, like me and him, we got in like an argument, and he was like, yeah, I don't fuck with you or your people. And I told him, I was like, you know, like, what's up with that? And he tried to start bringing up shit that happened in Haiti, and I'm like, my nigga, like, I don't have anything to do with what happened in Haiti. Like, how you just gonna try to use that against me? And I thought that was just crazy. And then I'm like, yo, if you talking about it because I'm like, I got African heritage, or, you know, I'm a descendant of Africa, then it's like, my dude, like, you included in that as well, because last time I checked, Dominicans are of European, Taino, and African descent. So you can't really try to hold that Africa shit against me. Don't take your issues that you had with Haiti and try to like put that on all black people. That's like you getting mad at black Colombians or black Brazilians or black people from the UK. Like, it just don't make sense. So when he was telling me that, like, he was like, Haitians, your people, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't have any ties to Haiti. Like, I have nothing to do with that. What that Dominican dude was doing, the one who I was trying to do an interview with, like, that was just a true example of like racism, because he was like, I don't fuck with you because you black. You know, stuff like that. That's the stuff that I feel like you can't justify that stuff. Like, I'm never gonna understand how somebody can just be like, I don't fuck with you because of your skin color. You feel me? So when you look at this at the end of the day, we're just all people, alright? I'm not gonna hold grudges against shit that happened like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, well before my time. For what? Like, it doesn't make sense for me to like hold grudges against somebody that I know wasn't involved in that type of situation. It doesn't make sense. What I look at is the current issues. Right now, police brutality, that's a current issue. The shit that's going on with, you know, Dominicans and Haitians with the healthcare system, that's a current issue. That's the shit that, you know, I feel like people should have issues with, the stuff that's happened currently. Those are the type of issues where I can understand where people might feel some type of way towards. All right, listen up, Dominican Republic and Haiti, all right? I'm gonna leave y'all off with this question, all right? When you break everything down, y'all history, all the wars, all the colonization, the borders, the boundaries, putting the people up against each other, who started all this shit in the first place? Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Peace.